Hey everybody, this is Zane Banks here, coming to you from isolation, and I want to talk about playing at high tempos. This was, some country stuff I was playing, but the principles I'm going to talk about today are more or less the same depending on whatever genre you're playing. They're all the same. So the first thing really is, when you're playing at high tempos, you have to play light. This is slightly different if you're playing an acoustic guitar in bluegrass music, because obviously you don't have amplification. So what I find happens is, as soon as the tempo sort of cranks up, I usually turn my volume up and I play a little bit lighter. Not like perceptibly lighter. It's not like people going, oh, where's the guitar gone? But I reserve my energy because I need that for that speed. So that's the first thing, monitoring your tension. Tension is the enemy of speed. It's the same in sports. So just be aware of that. The next thing is, you kind of need to have stuff prepared beforehand to play at a speed like that. It's not just going to magically happen. It's like on cooking shows when people are making a cake and then they go, and here's something I prepared earlier, and they just pull a perfectly formed cake out of the oven. We all know that was prepared before they shot the how to do it sort of section. So it's the same thing, like you have to have quite a bit of material because you're going to go through it really quickly. Like the faster the tempo, the more notes you got to play, the quicker it's over. So you need to spend quite a bit of preparation time. I was just playing mainly licks in E there over just a standard E7 groove, and I've worked at length, I've got videos on this as well, at just coming up with endless variations for E7 licks, or whatever the chord is, it just happened to be E7 then. So it's really important that you have that. The next thing is having knowledge of what's called harmonic rhythm. When you play really fast in music such as country music, bluegrass, or jazz, the harmonic progression is moving, right? So when the chords change, you have to change with it. And there's an emphasis on strong beats and weak beats that you have to be aware of. And it works best when you can, most of the time, play a strong note from a chord on a strong rhythmic beat. You can of course put a strong note from a chord on a weak rhythmic beat, but if you're not aware of how to do that, it will sound like you're out of time. I'll do another video on harmonic rhythm because it's a bit of a confusing topic. But if you've ever been playing really fast and felt like you were just sort of swimming upstream against the band, chances are this is what the problem was. So just putting on a metronome and just feeling that. So ironically, in order to play fast with the band, you've got to practice slow. So if I have a groove, just like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So thinking. So I do a lot of stuff at that tempo and even slower than that, so I can just think ahead, because when you get into playing some burner of a tune like Honky Tonk Nighttime Man, like you just can't think at that speed. You're relying entirely on just your fingers carrying you across the line. So all of that muscle memory, all of that pre-learned information that you just spent hours working on, that is where it comes into fruition. So it's definitely worth it. The next thing to think about is, and this is a concept that's talked about in jazz quite a bit, think as if you're playing in a slow tune. You want to try and stay as mentally relaxed as you can, as well as being physically relaxed. And sometimes if the tempo of a song is just like burning through, almost like, rounds out the side of a machine gun, it can just frazzle you mentally if you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Whereas if you just count, say, every second bar or every fourth bar, so you're just thinking, you can stay really just cool and mellow, even though you've got, so I'm relaxed, and I'm also making sure my breathing is nice and regulated. So if you hold onto your breath, you deoxygenate your muscles, then you start to tense up, and it just spirals out of control from there. So try doing that. Try thinking like, if you've got a really fast tempo, just thinking like that. Then you hear it again. Staying relaxed. And it's a challenge. You find that tension is something, it's like flood water. It starts to rise, and if you're not aware of it, it'll start to consume you. So you just have to be constantly monitoring that tension level. If you see it going above what you deem to be acceptable, because let's face it, you have to have tension to pluck a note. If not, you can't even hold the pick, let alone lift your arm. But you shouldn't need any more tension than what is required to do those things. So if you notice it creeping up, then you just gotta deflate the tension. So these are just a couple of really simple ideas that you can put into your playing. It's not often that you're going to get to play over a burner, but I know that a lot of guitar players, particularly country players, jazz players, we're drawn to that. We want to play the hard stuff. We want to show off a little bit, and it's not brain surgery. Physically, it can be quite hard to do, depending on the key or the song, but the techniques in order to do it are pretty straightforward. It's a bit like the Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off, practice slow, think slow, build it up gradually. You will get to be able to do it. It's just not going to happen at the end of a practice session or even the end of the week. It might take 18 months or 2 years if you just chip away at it every single day. So please give me a follow on YouTube, and you can find me on Instagram, the Rev Dr. Z, and at Facebook. And I've got a whole bunch of other videos. So if you've got a question about some kind of technique or style you want me to do a video on, please hit me up, and I'll try my best to do a video for you. All right, take it easy.